Well, good morning. You join me around the sections area of the Ltm1750. So I had a couple of requests to do a little walkthrough of the components for the luffer and the fly. They're actually the same components near enough. The same sections used for the fly used for the luffer as well. So I thought I'd go through with you. Why not? It's stopped raining now, so yeah. Before I start, actually, there's a guy who makes models. He's called John Murphy. His YouTube's Nan's John. I'll put him in the I'll put his page down in the comments. Go and check it out, because this guy is an absolute craftsman. So go check it out. He makes wooden models, all scale models. Honestly, they are absolutely incredible. So he was one of the people that suggested about doing the sections video, so go give him a check out. He's on Instagram as well, John Murphy, but I'll put all his details in the bottom of the video. But yeah, we'll start with a cat head. So here we are. If anyone wants to put in the comments why they actually call it a cat head, because most of the cats that I've ever seen they don't look like that. But yeah, this is what you put on the end of the luffer or fly, basically. So you've got your sheaves where your hoist rope goes through, up on the top as well. You got your pole for your anemometer that plugs in here, and this is very important. So this is your cable reel for your electrics. So once you've got all your sections stitched on, you'll wheel this out all the way to the root, the luffer root, the end pivot section, or the offset, not the offset, the adapter, wherever that is, and then that will give you an electric feed from the crane to the cat head, basically. So it'll give you your anti-2 block and everything, sends all the signals. So that's the cat head, really. It's in the wheels at the moment. You don't need the wheels for fly, but when you're on luffer, this is what you use when you're piking up and down, basically. So they stay pinned into the wheels, and that's what rolls along the floor as you're piking the crane up. But like I say, when you're on fly, this just tends to hang off the sections. Go to the other end of the crane now. So this is the adapter, TNTF adapter. So it's the adapter for fly and luffer. And basically all this does is it goes on the end of the boom. So it hooks on the end of the boom there, and then you pin it with these pins, and once that's on, then you're ready to start stitching on your X center or your V2 or your offset fly, whichever one you're going to stitch on. Now there's two options with this. You can have the hydraulic wheel on it as well, which if you see on this diagram here, this is the chain configuration. So if you haven't got the hydraulic wheel, it's just off number 1 on either side. But if you've got the hydraulic wheel, it's a 3-point lift, not a 2-point lift. But we don't have that, so ours is all a manual. Our offset for our fly will be a manual offset, because we never bothered getting the hydraulic wheel. Over to the middle of the crane now. So this is what we call the reducer. So this effectively changes it from a big section, which will be this end, into the light sections. So it normally halfway down the luffer jib will be the reducer, and then it will go to small sections then. One important thing to know about this section, well, any of the section really, always make sure that your security clips are in, because if they are in, this can easily slide off. The last thing you want to do is, when you're lifting, take it up and then this ends up sliding and falling on someone. So it's very important. They've got them at both ends. Got it at that end, and then that's the one in that end. So we always make sure when they go out on transport, and they're like transport pins basically, so we always make sure that they're always in, just in case they bounce off in transit as well. It's very important. So we've got the 7-meter section here, and like I say, the transport pins are in, they're locked, they're secured. Them tie bars can't go anywhere now. It's fairly self-explanatory. You've got to make sure they're in. It's just a safety precaution really, and a very good one, to be honest. So all the lever sections you'll find on all the cranes, the crawlers and everything, the little sections go inside the big sections for transport, and that's simply because it lowers the amount of trucks you need. So rather than sending on the big ones, like the big, let's go around here actually, on the big 14 metre sections like this one, you don't need 2 trucks to transport it. You can just use 1 truck, so you've got 2 sections inside each other. But this is a big 14 and a small 14. These are self-explanatory. Like I say, you can use these for fly jib as well. You just have to take the tie bars off the top if you're using them for fly, just in case they don't fall and do some serious damage. But the sections are fairly straightforward really. See, all the travel pins in, all locked into place, safe and secure. So then, the one at the top, don't really use this that often. I call it the V3, which is the 5 metre boom extension. It's technically, well, essentially all it is just, rather than having more telly boom, because the 750's only got a 52 metre boom, that is like a extension of your main boom, as it would. Same with this one that I'm stood next to, the V2, which is a 10 metre extension. Now, the V2 is a little bit different. It's got, when you're using it on luffer, you'll see on the top it's got 2 tie bars there. So you've got a tie bar there and a tie bar there. Now these are used to lengthen where you connect your bridle to. I'll tell you where they sit in a minute, because that's on the eccentric. But when you're on fly, you'd take these off altogether. If you were on TYV2EF rather than EN for fly jib configuration, so they'd come off. But when they're on luffer, they stay on and they connect to, sorry if this one's a bit long-winded, a lot of information to take in, but I thought, I'm here in the yard, might as well do a video. The crane's been quite quiet, it's been in for service and stuff. So this is the X center. So you've got your arms here that connect to the Y-guy wheels. You might have seen on a couple of TikToks before. This is where it connects to, and once you've connected the Y-guy wheel, it will bring that arm back, and you've got it there, the eccentric, the VE. That's the technical term for it. Now, them tie bars we were talking about earlier on the V2, when you put them on, this little tabletop here, these 2 little flat surfaces, that is where your tie bars will end up on the X center. And then once you're on TYV2EN, you'll bring your bike out on your luffer and they will land on there, and that'll make your tie bars will be on there as well. So that's where you bring your bike, you sit your bike down, connect your tie bars. When you're just on normal X center luffer, the tape, you can't see it because I can't climb up, but the tabletop is actually on top of the root. Now that brings us nicely into the main party piece of the luffer really. We call it the root, the end pivot section it's called. So a few very important components. First of all, you've got your gas ram. Now this is constantly pushing pressure forward. Once you bring your mast back, what's fighting it is that ram is trying to push it forward. It's a bit of a big piece, it's a bit of a big lump. It weighs 16 ton altogether. I can't get up and show you on the top because I ain't got my harness on or anything, so I can't really climb up, but this is how it looks on the floor anyway. So this is where it connects to the X center or the adapter, depending on if you're on just TN or TYVEN. And if you go around this side, this is the sort of business end really. Well, you can't really see, but this is a very important piece of equipment. So once you lift your mast up, the top mast, you'll stand this up, this pole will slide forward and then it will go into there, and then you can let the weight off and the mast will stay stood up then. And you need to do that so you can pull your bike out and everything basically. So it keeps it at a standing position, and then you can pull your bike out. There's reeving that you need to do up top, but like I say, I can't really show you because I can't climb up. But yeah, that's what the pole does basically. There is under here, if we go under here, this pin here, you see it with a little red tape on it. That's your travel pin basically. Well, not your travel pin, that's like, yeah, that's your travel pin. So once you pulled your mast back, and you get tension on your tie bars at the end, when you start luffing back, this pin will start to see how it's on like a slide. So this pin will start to slide forward. Then you can take the pin out and that will allow you then to luff down past this point. So then you've got full control of your luffer then, of your luffing jib. And we use that obviously to get it lower to the floor so we can pin sections on the stuff. Depending on what configuration, you can hang a load of sections on it. The max weight is 35 meters on TYVEN. That's for your F1 pressure, but if you're on just TN, it's 42 meters. That's how much you can fly before you have to chock it at the other end. Just go down to, here's an important bit. So here we are. I'll just get in here if I can, that's perfect. So here in these little holders here, terrible design, absolutely shocking design. On the 650 luffer, they're actually on the sides on the top so you can get to them, but here are your different tie bars. So depending on what length luffer you're on, you'll either be on a short tie bar, a long tie bar, or no tie bar at all. It's very important. We've got a little red book in the van with all the notes that we need, just for quick reference, and it tells us the lengths and what tie bars we need. But that's very important that you use them. Yeah, it's paramount. So here's another one. This is your rigging pin basically. So when these tie bars concertina up all the way, it'll be connected on this pin here, and then this is what allows you to luff up and down before you start. Once you've built the whole luffer, this is where your tie bars from your first section will connect. So you take the weight off, take that pin out, connect your tie bars here, and then when you luff back, all the tie bars down the bottom will be connected, and then they'll start to come up. That's another very important one as well. Bit of a terrible design flaw actually, because you've got to actually push that up and ratchet strap it to itself. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. That's where the load cell is, that tells you your F2 pressure. Good bit of kit. They didn't have that on the 500s, but they've got it on the 750. They've got it on the 650 as well actually. It's really good bit of information that you need. Anything else to do with the route? Without getting on top, that's pretty much it. Like I say, 16 ton, big lump. There's a lot of things involved, a lot of moving parts, but it's it does go together really well, to be honest. It's really well thought out. I love this luffer. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. One other thing is that sheave there, very important. So when you're pulling your bridle out, your hoist rope has to go under this sheave at all times. If you don't go under this sheave, you'll have a world of problems. Your hoist rope will just piss off. So you have to put the hoist rope, make sure it's under that every time. Very important. And other than that, the rest of the sections are pretty self-explanatory. They're just sections really. So you've got 2 3.5 meter big sections. They always go at the front, so these will you'll always near enough start with a 3.5 most of the time. The last thing is the offset. So this is when you're on fly. Now if you have a hydraulic fly, chances are you won't have these pin holes, because this is the manual offset. So when you're on hydraulic, you can luff it, you can choose what offset you want by luffing it up and down. But when you're on manual, you have to do it manually basically. So you'll take the weight of the end of the jib, pull the pin, and then this is on a slider then. So then it'll slide down to, I can't remember the degrees, I think it's straight. Oh, there you are. 10, 20 and 40. So that's how many degrees of offset you can have. And you just do it manually rather than luffing. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's not too bad. You've got the hoist rope winch is on its own little winch to stand it up, but it's down at the minute for transport. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the components that we have for the Ferrari Ltm1750. Like I say, it looks a lot, from anyone watching that's not really familiar with cranes or anything, a lot of information. It can look very confusing, but honestly, it goes together like an absolute dream. I appreciate the comments everyone's been putting on the YouTube as well. Give me some good ideas. I'll try and get round to them while I can. Like I say, the job always comes first. I just do this as a hobby to show people our industry and how good it is and how brilliant it is. So I do appreciate the support on YouTube as well. It's brilliant, and on TikTok, Instagram, that sort of thing. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you are new,
subscribe to the channel if you like it, hit that notification bell as well, just so you get notified when new videos come out. And yeah, appreciate the support, it's been fantastic, really do appreciate it. Anyways, we've got a job next week, I think, Braintree, steel job, and then Fawley, and then HS2 I think, so pretty busy now. It's starting to pick up, but yeah, thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you.